ladies, welcome back to Talk with Nia. So let's get right into it. Is Kenya more vindicated? Or are you guys on Brit's side? Now, if you haven't been watching Housewives of Atlanta, there's a new season out. They only had a couple episodes air so far, so you can still catch up. But before the show even aired, we knew that Kenya basically got kicked off the show, right? Like mid-season, but it's seeming like early season now because all of the stuff that Kenya did to Brit that was like allegedly people were claiming that it was revenge porn is going to go down on this episode coming on Sunday. But in the last episode, we got to see what Brit did to Kenya to cause Kenya to blow up some pictures of Brit at her salon grand opening. So basically, during the last episode, we see the girls get up and go to a sit-down dinner. And before we address Kenya and Brit, we got to talk about Porsha being a hater because Shamia shared her song with the group. And Porsha throughout the whole song, like, is that even you? Is that Drew? That's not you. Like, she was being a hater. She didn't say anything positive. She wasn't, like, just being quiet and listening. Shamia, that's not your friend. She was your friend a long time ago, but it's okay to grow up. And then, like, you and your childhood friend are no longer compatible. You have reached a lot of things in your life that Porsha has not been able to get. And Porsha's track record shows that when some woman in her life, even if it's her sister Lauren, gets things like a baby or a rich husband or just has a better life or is just a light and she doesn't have those things as well, she can't help but project that jealousy. And it seems like her mother also does the same. Okay. Now, anyway, back to Kenya and Brit. So they were at the sit-down dinner and they had like this question and Brit was like, oh, can you speak kindly to people when you meet them? So Brit is just going off on Kenya, kind of throwing some light shade at her ring in episode 1, I believe that was episode 1. And Kenya's like, I can talk nicely to people. And then Brit kind of started to blow up about it. And she's like getting pissed off. And then Kenya says, oh, a peasant can't be a queen. So that pissed Brit off more. And then Brit was basically saying that she got a pistol. And she said it multiple times. She was like, get this mic off me. Where's my husband? She don't know who I am, but she going to find out. She going to find out. And Kenya just didn't react. She chose to walk away, and Kenya's like, you want a moment. And then Brit even used her catchphrase, I didn't send for her. And she looked like a fan. Okay. Brit is a fan of the show. All right. So, yeah. Now, Kenya decides to leave. She gets in the car with Porsha and Drew and them, and they leave. And, like, Brit is still going off about her pistol. So this is where Kenya felt threatened by the whole thing because this girl was talking about getting her pistol. Now, when I saw the interview with Kenya a few months ago, when we all saw on the blogs that Kenya was off the show, the whole revenge porn, allegedly. Sorry for my little one in the back, y'all. Y'all know I just had a baby. When we saw that, when she was on, what is it, the Tamron show? I just thought Kenya was being Kenya. Oh, I felt threatened. Like Kenya sometimes used that before, and it really wasn't like that crazy, right? But the girl was saying that she was going to get her gun. Like, that is a threat. Like, you know what I mean? And Kenya's not about that life. So Kenya probably felt like, is this girl going to try to find out where I live or pull up on me or whatever? You know what I mean? So I get it. Kenya was threatened. Absolutely, she was threatened. Brit should have never said nothing about no damn gun, right? So in the next episode, we have to see how Kenya did this. What happened? We have to watch this part and then we have to come back. Now, Cynthia did an interview talking about this, and this is what she had to say.
I have not spoken to Kenya since around the time that whole thing happened.
Okay.
And, that's really kind of a sad situation for me because I was there to just support her salon. I'm so proud of her. I know how hard she's worked on it, and I was just so disappointed to see her vision be overshadowed by what happened at the salon, which you guys will see. I felt like that should have been the focus because, that was her life dream, like building this hair care empire. Yeah. And I just wish she had called me before or I definitely would have this is your moment. This is beautiful. The entire event was amazing and it just ended on on not such a great note. And I let her know that, because I just thought it was beneath her. I hold my friends to a standard. Kenya is a woman of class. I just felt like it was beneath her, and I was a little disappointed in how she responded.
Yeah. I could see when I asked you about her that there's like a lot of hurt.
It's like my least favorite question because like this is someone that I do care about, and I have to respect her space. I have reached out. I reached out during that time, and texted, I called, and I respect if she needs a minute, and she knows that when she's ready to talk to me, I'll be right here.
Now, a lot of people have mixed feelings about Cynthia right here because she's like, if that's your good girlfriend, you can hold your friend accountable, but keep it between you and your friend. You don't got to do interviews and share about how you feel about it and whatever and say it to the whole world. I understand people saying that, but like Cynthia's being true to her feelings, right? She was disappointed in her friend. She felt like her friend overshadowed her salon, and she's been working really hard on her Kenya Moore hair care line and the salon. I mean, Kenya said in the last episode she blew through her baby Brooklyn's college fund for this salon, which I was like, Kenya, you are a smart girl. Why did you blow through your baby girl's college fund for this salon? I understand where Cynthia is coming from as a friend and how she feels, and I'm glad that she vocalized that to Kenya, but I felt like she could have cleaned it up and just kind of like put a nice little button on it in the interview and say, you know what? Both girls had a part to play in this, right? I wasn't there during the dinner event, but from what I heard and now what we've seen on TV, Britt was absolutely wrong for threatening Kenya and going that far. It was not that serious. And then Kenya also played a part by how she chose to react. She could have done something a little bit differently, which I spoke to her about, but they both were wrong. But Britt started it. She should have never threatened Kenya in that way that made her feel like her life was threatened. And she said, if you say something like that, you still have Kenya's back. In her interview, it just looked like, oh, I'm just so disappointed in Kenya. I can't believe she did that. Like it just makes Kenya seem like she's the one that's completely at fault without having her back in any kind of way. So if Kenya ain't picking up your calls, girl, I understand why. I understand why. You tell Kenya how you felt, like how you answered in your interview. You tell her that on the phone or in person, okay? And then in the interviews, you have her back a little bit more in the situation, or you can just say that they both were wrong. All right, that's it. Okay, so I get it. I definitely get it. A lot of people were saying like, well, Cynthia goes wherever the wind blows, because I think Nene said that. So let me know how y'all feel about that. Do y'all think Cynthia is being a good friend based on how she answered this interview question? How y'all feel about the whole episode? And are y'all tuning in on Sunday? Because we definitely going to watch this crap play out. And I'll be back here next week to talk about it. All right. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.